competition, globalization, human rights, environment, etc. And these paradigms will change the societies.
So when you think about Mexico, of course you grew up there, you're the most prominent businessman in America, literally, in all of America. How will Mexico change? U.S. citizens who go to Mexico love the culture. They see the wealth, they see the poverty, they see the difference in things, they see the drug issues, the police issues, and so forth. Give us a sense of how Mexico will evolve. And you're doing a lot to change it.
I think in this new society it's very easy to produce goods, to produce services very efficiently, very low cost, and produce wealth. But if you don't make the right conduction, the changes create crisis. And that's what we are living, and that's what, if we don't make a right conduction of the changes, we will have a lot of crises. In the industrial society, we have civil wars, we have 2 world wars, and many problems. A lot of experiments with society in the 20th century, experiments, social experiments, political experiments, economic experiments, because they don't know how to manage the changes. For me, it's clear that to fight poverty is not with charity, is not with social programs. You need to give nutrition from the mother pregnant, nutrition for the child and for the student, health and employment. But health and education, excuse me. You need to bring high quality education, all grades of education. That's why I was talking before of digital culture. You need to have a modern and high quality education and jobs. As you have a higher education, you have more diversity of jobs. You can find jobs more easier than if you only know how to do one thing. I think the way for Mexico and all our countries is to take out people from poverty. The best investment is to take people out of, I'm not talking only about social issues or ethical issues or moral issues. It's an economic need to take out people of poverty, to create middle classes, to take them to modernity, to take them to the market, and as much as you can include in the market and in the society 40 million people in our country that are marginal of that, or like China is doing with 800 million still in marginal, putting 30 or 40 million every year in the modernity. That's what you need to change. That's why we need to change. And we need to have an economic environment, an economic climate for investment, and because with this investment you will have economic activity and employment. We need to develop employment. And what are we doing? Well, we are trying to work in a combination with the foundation and investing in profit and non-profit companies. In profit companies, we are doing our job, regular job. That means some employment and some effects. But others increase productivity. Let's say mobile telephony make higher the productivity of our people, no? But the broadband and digital culture will improve the education and modernize. But also look the way to increase employment. And to increase employment, you need to begin to be creative, to have creativity, take out inertia. Inertia drive most of the decisions, but you need to move, like you do that in Google, to change that. And the only environment that you need for that is a stable financial stability, macro stability, and to push the activity where employment is. And employment is mainly in construction, housing, infrastructure, small business, micro business, middle business, that need to be financed and pushed.
And you actually have a view, I think, that businesses should do this ahead of the politicians, because businesses have a longer-term view.
I think that in the past, in this agricultural society, let's say politicians or governments were everything. Or feudal persons were everything. I think communism was a formula for a agricultural society, not for a modern society.
Sure.
No? And now, as the society advances, between the paradigms, freedom, creativity, you need more activity of the civil society. Every time the government will give more space to the society to do the solutions and to do the things. And I believe that entrepreneurs and many other people in other activities can think in long term and find solutions and go in the way for long-term solutions and not short-term.
Let's see if we can get some questions from the audience. The problem I have with your vision, which I agree with, is we've just spent the last 5 days going through an extraordinary financial restructuring, and there's an article today in the paper that's saying that banks are so scared of each other that they've stopped lending to each other and that there's a worldwide credit crisis about to happen. Now, you've been through a couple of these in Latin America where you cleverly maneuvered through tremendous challenges to build Telmex. What do you think is going to happen to the credit markets, to the United States? I mean, a lot of people are very, very concerned about what's happening.
I believe that cycles, economic cycles, you say cycles, are okay in a agricultural society when you have good weather and bad weather.
Okay.
But when you are talking about services societies, there is not quite to have cycles. And what makes cycles occur is that people personally have problems, and like a society also, of euphoria and pessimistic, no? Optimistic and pessimistic. You have times, in one day you have this kind of changes. But the society like a whole have also this kind. And I think we will have a few years of euphoria and madness, thinking that everything will grow in prices because prognosis is very usual. Inertia is very in our minds always. If it went up 5 years, it will go forever, or if they are going, etc. And I think in this madness, people in charge of the financial system were looking for size, for fees, for businesses, for volume, bigger and bigger and bigger. Bigger was, they think, was the better, and not to make the best job, no, the efficiency.
So do you think the current credit crisis will actually affect the markets that you and I have been talking about?
Yes, they will affect everything, and they will be worse than now, I think. I will like to be equivocado, that I am wrong, but I think things will get a little worse, and because we were talking about the subprime in mortgage, but they are subprime everywhere. Subprime for acquisitions, subprime for derivatives, subprime for commodities, and we are just talking about mortgages until a few. Today now they are getting with the real thing, no? But what is important is not if it will be worse or better. It will have some time. The important thing is to get back from this situation in a better shape, strongly, and to try to avoid all these problems. And I think there are many solutions, easy solutions, easy but very costly. No, I used to say for 20 years to now that in the developed countries the crises are paid by the savers. In our countries, it's paid by the consumers. That's good always that the savers pay the crisis that the consumers, because when that's the consumer, it's a big social problem. I think it should be taken out the speculation, that there's a bubble of speculative in oil and food, because you can buy contracts and commodities with 5% only. You need to increase the margin for that to avoid the speculation, mainly in oil